learn each and every word. You don't have to give attention to everything. You don't have to just learn anything. You just have to understand the thing. The thing here is understanding, not learning. Right? When we come upon the socio-cultural part, yes, their understanding, learning, memorizing, all are very important. So just to brief out what all topics we have taken yesterday, we have started with the evolution. In evolution, we talked about natural selection, right? Selective breeding, and how human beings is different from their ancestors, right? Certain things about evolution. Then we talked about the neuron. Neuron is what? A basic unit of nervous system. Fine. These are what? These are specialized cells. And I told you that to refer figure 3.1 given on page number 46. Just see the diagram, read out from the paragraph, you're going to understand the things, right? And we have discussed about the terminal buttons, about the dendrites, about the soma. Then we talk about the two types of nerves, that was sensory or afferent. And second one was what? Motor and efferent, right? We talked about nerves or not? Fine. Now let us start with another topic which is known as nerve impulse. We talked about neuron yesterday. Now we are going to study what is nerve impulse. Just to have a basic idea, do not get very much in depth, just to understand what is nerve impulse. See how information travels within the nervous system. It travels simply in a form of nerve impulse. Now, just to make you understand in a very simple language, what happens, suppose you touch a hot cup of coffee, right? When it is very hot, what happens? Suddenly you just pull your hand back because you got it very hot, right? So what you do, you just pull your hand very immediately because you have touched a hot cup of coffee. So the hotness was very extreme and it generated certain electrical changes, right? And nerve impulse got generated and we felt stimulus to a great extent. So in the same manner, what is happening? There are certain stimulus present in the environment, or you can say stimulus energy is there, right? When stimulus energy is relatively weak, right? The electrical changes are so small. Are you getting my point? When the stimulus is very weak or very small or very minor, the electrical changes that generated are too small and the nerve impulse is not generated. Nerve impulse is what? It carries information within the nervous system, right? So what happened? Nerve impulse is not generated and the result is that we do not feel that stimulus, right? Let's take another example. Suppose someone just touched you, right? It was a very minor touch and you do not felt it, right? So what is it? That the electrical change produced by that stimulus energy is very weak. So you were not able to notice this. Some insects crawl on your arm, right? It is very, very small, so you don't even feel it because the stimulus is very weak and it is not able to generate what? Nerve impulse. Now, the important term you have to keep in mind is what? There is a term given on page number 46. Just see. Can you all see on page number 46? Second column, all or none principle. In bold and black letter, an important term is given, all or none principle on page number 46. You have to understand this term. It is important from OTQ. Yes, a 1 mark question could be asked. What is all or none principle? See, the nerve fibers work according to this principle. What is happening under this principle? That the nerve fibers either respond completely. What does it mean? That it respond all together, or do not respond at all. Two conditions are there, all or none. Are we getting some idea from this term? All or none. All means either the fibers are collecting and responding all together or completely. Second situation is what? They are not responding at all, which means none. Fine. So all or none principle is important under this heading, nerve impulse. Just understand this thing and underline also. So strength of the nerve impulse does not depend on the strength of the stimulus that started the impulse. The nerve fibers work according to all or none principle, and you have to explain what happens under this principle. Right, students? Now let us discuss another topic, synapse. What is it? First of all, you got it clear that information is transmitted from one place to another within the nervous system in the form of what? Neural impulse or nerve impulse. Right. Now, a neuron, you all have understood what are neurons, right? We have discussed it yesterday. Now just see figure 3.2 on page number 47. In this, they are saying that a neuron is never physically connected with another neuron. When you see the diagram, can you see that a neuron physically connected with another neuron? Rather, there is a small gap between the two. What does it mean? That between the neurons, there is a certain gap. And what that gap is called? It is simply called synaptic cleft. Right? Synapse, understand it. What is synaptic cleft? There is a small gap between the two neurons as they are not physically connected to each other. Fine. So this is known as synaptic cleft. Just see figure 3.2, page number 47, and you'll understand the thing. Now, what you have to keep in mind, the conduction of neural impulse in the axon is electrochemical. Whenever the neural impulse is conducting in the axon, what is it? Electrochemical in nature. But the nature of synaptic transmission is what? Only chemical. As we just talked about synaptic cleft, so the nature of this is what? A transmission always goes. So the nature of synaptic transmission is chemical, whereas the conduction of neural impulse in the axon is electrochemical. So there's a difference. Axon में जब transmission हो रहा है, तो what is the nature? Electrochemical. And synaptic transmission हो रहा है, तो what is the nature? It is only chemical. Fine. And the chemical substances which are there, what they are known as neurotransmitters. You have to learn these terms as it is a biological makeup of our body. So we have to study it as it is. By referring, by consulting the diagrams, it is more easier to understand the things. So just see figure 3.2 while reading. So what are the important terms? What is neural impulse? What is all or none principle? And what is synaptic cleft? What is the nature of the transmission? What are neurotransmitters? These are simple chemical substances which flow into our body. Right? Now let us start. Very important topic and interesting too, the nervous system. See, the nervous system is mainly divided into two parts, two main parts. First, it is known as central nervous system, right? And second part is peripheral nervous system. Nervous system is divided, again I'm repeating, into two important parts. Central nervous system, that is known as CNS, and another one is peripheral nervous system, which is also known as PNS. Now the further classification is central nervous system, that is CNS, is again divided into two main parts. What are they? First one is brain and second one is spinal cord. On the other side, the PNS, the peripheral nervous system. It is also divided into two important parts. What are they? Somatic nervous system, which is also known as SNS, and another one is autonomic nervous system, ANS. Are you getting the things? Then another classification, the further classification of autonomic nervous system is there. It is also divided into two parts. The first one is sympathetic division, and second one is what? Parasympathetic division. You don't have to get confused. Just open your NCERT, page number 47. A very easy diagram is there, figure 3.3. And a very nice classification, a very nice categorization is given, a very simple one. Just see it and you're able to understand each and everything. I am again repeating the things. See, the nervous system is divided into two parts. First one is CNS and second one is peripheral nervous system, PNS. Central nervous system is divided into two parts, brain and spinal cord. And on this side, peripheral nervous system is also divided into what? Somatic and autonomic nervous system. Again, the further classification of autonomic nervous system is there. It is also divided into two parts. What are they? The first one is sympathetic nervous system and second one is what? Parasympathetic nervous system. We're going to discuss each and everything, right? And there is an endocrine system which includes various glands which are very important, and it is connected to both CNS also and PNS also. Fine. So just refer figure 3.3 on page number 47. Everything will be get clear. Right. Now we are starting the PNS, that is peripheral nervous system first. As I said, it is divided into two parts, somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system. So now let us discuss what is somatic nervous system. This system consists of two types of nerves called cranial and spinal nerves. The somatic nervous system, it is divided in mainly two types of nerves. What are the names? The cranial and spinal nerves. Now there are 12 sets of cranial nerves which either emanate from or reach different locations of the brain. What does it mean? That there are 12 sets of cranial nerves which either emanate means coming from or reaching different locations of the brain. There are three types of cranial nerves. This is quite important. कितने type के cranial nerves हैं? Three types. What are they? We have discussed it yesterday. I hope you remember the name of the nerves. We have just discussed it yesterday only. The name of the nerves are what? Sensory, motor, and mixed nerves, right? So there are three types of cranial nerves. Sensory, as we have just discussed yesterday, that it collects sensory information from receptors of the head region and carry them to the brain, right? What motor nerves are doing? They are carrying motor impulses originating from the brain to muscles of the head region. Opposite, they are working in opposite direction. They have given a very good example of motor nerve, movements of the eyeballs. We move our eyeballs and it is controlled by what? Motor cranial nerves. Mixed nerves have both sensory and motor fibers which conduct sensory and motor information to and from the brain. As name is giving, the idea mixed nerves is what? It is conducting both type of functions, the sensory functions also and the motor functions also. So somatic nervous system, very simple. It consists of two types of nerves, spinal and cranial. There are 12 sets of cranial nerves, right? And there are three types of cranial nerves. What are they? Sensory, motor, and mixed. Just give one example of all the three if it is possible, right? Now another, under the same, there are 31 sets of spinal nerves. Cranial nerves कितने थे? 12 sets of cranial nerves. And how many are there? Spinal nerves, 31 sets. You don't have to study all these nerves in detail. Just remember the important things: how many numbers are there, what types of nerves are there. If you can give the example, very good. It is all about somatic nervous system, that is SNS, right? Now let us discuss the important part from our psychological point of view. Which system? The autonomic nervous system, ANS. It is very important to understand various activities which happen in our behavior, right? So what is it? Autonomic nervous system govern activities which are normally not under direct control of individuals. That means these are not voluntary activities. These are not under our control, right? It controls such internal functions such as breathing, blood circulation, salivation, stomach contraction, and emotional reactions. So these are certain things we cannot control to a great extent. Yes, we can control our breathing up to some time. Yes, during meditation and certain yoga asanas are there in which we can control. But basically, this system governs activities which are normally not under direct control of individuals, right? We are talking about ANS, autonomic nervous system. Now, as I said, that ANS is divided into two main parts. What are they? The sympathetic division, and second one is parasympathetic division. See, this is one classification in which many students always does mistake. They always get confused out of overconfidence or what. So you have to learn the things very carefully by understanding the things, or by just creating some association between the things. Sympathetic division deals with emergencies, right? And parasympathetic division is mainly concerned with what? Conservation of energy. Either you write it somewhere or you can just underline in your book. Again, a figure is given on page number 48, figure 3.4. Very beautifully, they are explaining the differences between parasympathetic and sympathetic. In parasympathetic, certain activities are there, that it constricts pupil, it inhibits tear gland, increases salivation, slows heartbeat, constricts bronchi, increases digestive functions of stomach, increases digestive functions of intestine, contracts bladder, right? And what is happening under sympathetic? Stimulates tear glands and dilates pupil, accelerates heart, inhibits salivation, increases sweating. Can you people make out the thing that when we say we are dealing with any emergency, what do you mean by dealing with any emergency into our daily life? Any encounter which causes lot of physiological changes into our body, which also creating psychological changes. Suppose all of a sudden some wild animal comes in front of you. It is similar. These changes will be there. Sympathetic system, what it will do? It will deal with the emergency by showing all these activities. You will increases, sweating will increase, heartbeat accelerates, your pupil will dilate, it will stimulate the tear glands, it decreases the digestive functions of intestine. So your body is dealing with that emergency by using all these things. And parasympathetic system is doing when that wild animal has passed or it has gone. After that, your body will try to maintain or will try to recover that balance. You must have read about the word homeostasis. Homeostasis is what? It is a state of equilibrium. So your body has stimulated, right? It has been activated. Now parasympathetic system will do, it will try to bring back that balance, right? It will try to bring back that equilibrium. So what it will do, it will slows your heart rate, it will decreases the sweating, it will increases the digestive functions of your stomach, and it will inhibit tear gland, it will increase the saliva into your mouth, right? You are getting the thing. These two systems are working in opposite direction, and both are very important, right? When the emergency is over, the parasympathetic division takes over, right? And you can give these examples, which is given in figure 3.4. Either you can give the differences in a tabular form, or after giving the differences in tabular form, you can give a very nice example to make it understand that how does it work. Sympathetic, whenever you are dealing with any kind of emergency, suppose you are giving your final exam and you haven't prepared well for that exam, right? The moment the question paper is there, and you have gone through that paper, you have gone through that question paper, and after reading you realize that I'll not be able to pass this time. What is the situation? How will your body react to that situation? Is it a kind of emergency? Yes. So all these activities will generate, we have talked about. So your body will show all these kind of sympathetic activities because it was trying to dealing with that emergency, right? And when you finished up your paper, when you have given your answer sheet to the teacher, then when you come back to your home, your parasympathetic division will try to bring back that homeostasis. Now that emergency has over, now your body is trying to relax, your body is trying to be calmed down, and the parasympathetic division will now take over the things. You are getting how these two systems are operating, and equally both the systems are important. You can go through this figure 3.4. There are certain examples of the physical activities given, and you can give any example of any emergency you have faced, you have experienced. So you can write it. A new example is always welcome other than from your book. And if you want to give it from your book, no problem. Fine. So this is all about somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system. And these two are part of what? Peripheral nervous system. Remember? Now we're going to discuss another system that is known as central nervous system, CNS. And what are the two main parts? The brain and spinal cord. Right? The central nervous system consists of two parts, brain and spinal cord. We'll talk about the structure of the brain. See, in your book, a very brief introduction is given about the brain. So I'm just reading it out for you because this is good for your information. An adult brain weighs about 1.36 kg and contains around 100 billion neurons. However, the most amazing thing about the brain is not its number of neurons, but and thought. The brain is organized into structures and regions that perform specific functions. Understanding reasons why some mental are distributed among different areas of the brain, many activities are localized also. For example, the occipital lobe of the brain is a specialized area for vision. So this is just a brief introduction about the brain, that how much it weighs, how many neurons are there, and what is the amazing fact that how our brain is controlling and guiding our behavior and thought process. And you know, whenever you see the structure of the brain, it is so well organized. It is divided into so many areas and regions, and every area and region is, performing some specific function. As they have given the example of occipital lobe, because this lobe is mainly responsible for vision. So now we're going to discuss about the structure of the brain in tomorrow's session. For today, I think it's sufficient. Yes, ma'am, we can stop with